Everybody, I hope you're doing well today. I thought that I would kind of sit down, do a video today, and just kind of sit down and chat. Got a cat underneath you that's moving, so hopefully you're not shaking. But anyways, yeah, I thought I would do a video kind of a chit chat video, kind of talk. I know I do a lot of updates and I'm trying not to do that, but it's sort of an update, sort of kind of fill you guys in to what's been happening the past 6-7 years since I started YouTube. Why initially I stopped being consistent, because I know when I was doing YouTube 2008 to about 2010, I was pretty consistent. Wasn't really doing daily videos, but I was doing pretty often, every 2 weeks, or I don't remember, it was 2 weeks, but I was doing pretty often. And so yeah, I thought I would update you with that. I have a few notes kind of just to kind of keep the key points, but I'm not going to try to read off it like a script. But let's see. Also, but a few points, a few things before I get into the long story. Great. You can choose now, cat. Hopefully you guys can't hear that. Speaking of cats, I know if you've seen my older videos, or seen any of my videos, you've probably seen changes with the cats. Just wanted to see if you guys had points. I thought about doing a video about our cats, kind of dive into their stories about how we got them. Yeah, just like the stories of how we got them, their names. Because I guess technically, as of today, we have 8 cats. Obviously not all in the house, but so yeah, if you guys are interested in that, let me know down in the comments if you were interested in a video like that. Also, I should have another video coming up this month of an unboxing. My husband, one of the Christmas gifts he got me was a subscription service, so I know that box is coming out this month. I just don't know when, obviously. So I'll be doing a video of the unboxing of that. I think those were the few points, other than the really long. Oh, also I have a video in my, speaking of Christmas, video on my other channel, which I am thinking about. I'm trying to get all my channels. I have 3. One for the cats. This is the main channel, and then the second one, which I'm trying to be kind of centered more around art, books, kind of crafts, creative things. So those type of videos I'm going to do on the other channel. But when I was getting at, there's the video I'm trying to talk about on that channel that it'll upload before this video. I'll probably link in the cards and down below. But I was testing out this new craft table that my husband made me for Christmas. I was also testing out my camera before this to see if I could use it for like a do-it-yourself kind of lower angled videos, because this current video right now, my high quality camera is a DSLR and my tripod that I have can't angle, like this is as far as it can angle down with this camera. This camera is way too heavy to fully angle it more down than the angles I need for do-it-yourself kind of crafty videos that would be pointing towards my table. But yeah, I was testing that out. I was testing the table out, and I was also making my husband my traditional penguin present, which I started back in 2012. I decided I would gift him something penguin every year because that's kind of like our little thing. One of his favorite animals is a penguin, and it just, as our relationship got further along, he became my penguin, and that's kind of our thing. Sorry, the clouds keep, if the light's fluctuating, the clouds keep covering the sun off and on. Sorry. But yeah, I had a lot of trouble really thinking of what to get him this year, because I didn't want to get him a stuffed penguin because I've got him in that years prior. I didn't want to get him a little statuette because I got him that previous years. It was just I was having trouble finding something different and unique. I mean, I couldn't get him jewelry, like a necklace like he got me one year, and earrings. So, but I finally found one, and I don't have all of them. And this is what you'll see in the video that I was talking about on my second channel. I made him little perler bead coasters, and I made him 4. He's currently using the other one, but yeah, I just made cute little penguin perler bead coasters. And it's just, the videos that I'm talking about is just more of just watch me craft. It's nothing really too special. So yeah, if you're interested in that, I'll link it in the cards and down below. And as for the rest of the video, you could pause right here because I'm pretty sure this is going to be a long video. Get a snack, get a drink, or watch it in different times, pauses, and watch it a little bit at a time if you're interested. Because I'm going to go back and talk about what's happened these past few years, like I said, and why I haven't been consistent. Okay, now let me grab my little timeline and notes here. If the light keeps fluctuating, the clouds keep going over again still. Pretty dark clouds too, but we're not set for any rain, but I digress. Let's see, let's start from the beginning. Yeah, I started YouTube around the first year my husband and I started dating and then living together. I mean, we had been dating for a little over 2-3 months when we moved in with each other. Kind of more about our relationship in another video, maybe. If that's up to him, if he's willing to do that. We're both somewhat, or pretty private people. So, yeah, 2008 was when we first started living together, dating, and I don't remember how exactly, but I found YouTube. I thought, wow, this is really cool. Just everyday people are making their own like videos and just different topics of what they want, and then I found makeup and beauty, and it's like, though in my past, the teen years, I was kind of taught makeup, but I always was grew up with the sense that I couldn't really dabble with like colored eyeshadows and colored lipsticks and just like everything had to be really neutral. Like I had that kind of misconception growing up. So and then I found YouTube, and it's like, wow, I could really be creative with my makeup. I could really find ways to pull off colored eyeshadow and different colored lipsticks and stuff. So as I really started making videos, though when I started out, I had this little not so great video camera, and I think it was like a really, really cheap video camera, and I just started out by videotaping our cats that we had got at the time, because that's around the time I started, was when we first got the cats. And so I did that, and we were living in our first apartment was an apartment that was ground level. It had a big old huge tree out in the front. Then there was another whole building in the front of that on the other side, so it was pretty shady and dark. It was small. So yeah, those cat videos, I mean, they're still there. They're not the greatest quality, and they're pretty dark. When I started dabbling with like showing me kind of learning makeup and kind of experimenting with like eyeshadow and eyeshadow looks, I was actually filming in our office, and that was like the brightest room. Like even our master bedroom was dark, which works for us because I can't sleep with lights. I have to have it dark. And so yeah, that I was just having tons of fun with like makeup videos. The tags were big back then. I remember it was a struggle. You had to have at least 10 minutes. Like the videos could only be 10 minutes long. So that was fun. So yeah, from about 2008 to 2010, I was consistent. We were in that first apartment, just having fun doing videos, doing hauls, and I remember like buying from Candles by Victoria and trying out her scents. But around 2010, I don't remember exactly when, in 2010, we ended up moving, and that's when things kind of got a little bumpy for the channel. We decided to move. The apartment, like I said, it was small, it was dark. The people where we were renting from, they were upping the rent constantly. So we decided, yeah, it's time to move. We've been here long enough. Oh, and technically we had 3 cats, and technically we weren't supposed to have any pets, though other renters or neighbors and such, they did have pets. One had a very loud yappy dog. But yeah, so we started looking around. We're living in New Mexico at the time, small town in New Mexico, because my husband was stationed near there while he was in the military, because I met him towards the end of his term in the military. And then he ended up, when he got out, just turning around and working for the military as a civilian, as a contractor, in a contracting company. So we're still in that same area. So yeah, we still needed to find a place pretty close to the base, not very far from the base. So we found in a neighboring town. We found a house for rent. Like, I remember this house, like, I initially didn't really like the pictures that they had showed, but we went and checked it out anyways, and the minute we walked through the door, it's like, this is the place, and I love this place. So we ended up putting in to rent that house. and it was a double wide manufactured home, relatively new, and there had only been one person living in that house before us, so it was really in relatively new condition. We were there for about a year. I had done like 2 videos in that house. I had fully planned on keeping up with YouTube. I was only able to really do 2 videos in that house because what put a wrench in the videos in general, video making in general, was I had been using Windows Movie Maker, and for whatever reason, it, the program was not working for me for whatever reason, and I don't think we could I was having trouble finding other programs, figuring out what other programs I could use, I could learn, what we could afford. So there's that, and then I eventually got a full-time job doing a night shift cashier work at a local Walmart. So with that, when I wasn't working, I was probably at home making food and then going to bed. My husband was working night shift, so yeah, it was really hard to make videos that year. And then we ended up having to move to New York State for my husband's job. He got transferred to New York State. So that was kind of fun to do. Packing pretty much, this is the first literally cross-country move that we had. Had to pack everything. That was also really rough because we ended up having to give away 2 out of the 3 cats. Lynx and Midnight we ended up giving up, and Cat Cow. That was really hard on both of us. Well, actually all 3 of us. Cow took it pretty hard. There's not a day that goes by that we don't miss them. But for us, our cats are our family. They're our babies. I'm just an animal lover in general, so I think any of my pets are I'm gonna have a strong attachment to them. But that's to the point. We got up to New York State. We were in an extended stay hotel there. Actually, for most of the time we were in New York. A good chunk of the time that we were in New York, we were living in there. It was just a little hard for us to do, kind of looking for a place, and he immediately went back to work. So he was commuting from work to try to look for places. So when we finally found an apartment, it was, 6 months, a little over that. So while we got the apartment there in New York, I did attempt to try to get back into YouTube. I mean, it hadn't been too long of a gap between when I was last making videos and then, so it was getting there. But we were in New York for a year, and then he had to be transferred again, this time to Ohio. And then during that process of transitioning is when things really got chaotic. So yeah, while we had pretty much the majority of our stuff in a pod while we were in New York. that's how we moved majority of our stuff from New Mexico all the way up to New York. And we only got, while we were in the New York apartment, we only got a few of the stuff out of the pod, but the majority of everything else was in the pod. So when we found out that we had to move back to Ohio,
Hi, Wizard.
how long were we in Ohio?
About 6 months.
6 months. They probably can't see him because of dark clouds, and he's black. Shoot, I'm trying to remember everything. Yeah, that's when things got chaotic. So yeah, we were in Ohio for 6 months, but before that, in the process where we're trying to move stuff around for the move to transfer the pods to Ohio, I can't remember exactly what happened, but my husband's back gave out on him. Like, it was really bad. Excruciating pain. And in the process, I also hurt my knee somehow and had to rest it for a week. So there's a whole week that we lost on moving, packing things up and moving. And then, yeah, it seemed to get worse. Got to Ohio, we found an extended stay there as well. His job had found, or work had found out what happened. So they're like, we're not going to let you work until you figure out what's going on, until you're better. Because he'd have to lift stuff, heavy stuff, and he was just in too much pain. So we spent most of the 6 months we were in Ohio looking for doctors and going from doctor to doctor and doctor. We really weren't getting any answers. I mean, I know it was briefly mentioned that he possibly had a hole in his spinal column, a really wide one. He does, but it's not that threatening. Finally got to the point where his job they couldn't hold on to him. They couldn't pause his position any longer, so he got let go. So yeah, we had all the pod go, so that was pretty much our everything owned, completely gone. We just had a few items, just a few things that we could pack in a car or carry on with us, because it was decided that we would go live with his family for a little while until we could figure out what was going on with him and we just gotta get back on our feet. So yeah, we ended up flying with Calco and us, and I think that was in 2012, late 2012, I think it was around November. We ended up moving in with his mom and stepdad. And let's see, we start trying to get, I don't remember how quickly it was, but we started trying to get him into that VA system in Washington State. And it was decided that I would try to find a job while we try to figure out what's going on with him. And I think a little bit later, it was decided that he would go back to school to kind of retrain because he couldn't do his old job again. So yeah, between appointments with the VA and just when we were there, I just literally spent all day, every day looking for a job, and it just, no one was hiring or no one was calling me back. It's just like this went on for weeks. It was just, tensions were getting high because there was no results. His mom and stepdad were constantly away all day at work. So, like, they couldn't really see what I was going through. Yeah, it was just a very stressful, tense situation. We went with him a couple of times to check out colleges, because he was going to go for game design. He had briefly done a class back in high school for game design, so he was going to go follow that path. We decided to follow that path, and so we were looking at a few colleges, and then after a while, like, it was finally, we just realized, like, I was not going to find a job. I wasn't what I was qualified for, that we're not hiring, and just, like, I wasn't getting it. So in the end, we both ended up going to college, go back to college to kind of, for me to kind of get more, kind of trade for a new field myself. And so, yeah, he went for bachelor's in game design, and then I went in for fashion design. Reasoning for choosing fashion design is kind of like, it could have been gone either way for two programs for me at this particular school that we both liked when we did his, initially going and looking at the campuses for him, was digital media production, or DMP, or fashion design. Well, I chose fashion design, obviously, as I said. But the reason between those, I was considering between those two, was I had always loved the kind of behind the scenes in videos and DVDs and movies that they have, especially the Lord of the Rings, like their appendices, like those big special edition DVDs. Just kind of like watching the behind the scenes of how a movie happened. I always found that really interesting. And despite doing YouTube, I mean, it would have been good to go in DMP for that, but in the end I decided to do fashion designing because I really wanted to do something hands-on, like more hands-on, more working with my hands than just sitting at a computer. Not that there's anything wrong with that. So yeah, I kind of wish I would, honestly now, I wish I would have gone to DMP, mostly because even though like they're both expensive, I'm sure DMP is really expensive, like all the stuff that you have to get, but fashion design just was really expensive, and we weren't in the position, like, we were living off his VA benefits, and financial aid. Like, that's what we were living off of. So, and with fashion design, during that first term, yeah, they provided you with some stuff, but in the terms following, you had to basically buy everything. Books, this particular school, the books were provided for, but our actual project stuff, we had to buy. Like my fabrics, my interfacing, my thread, my the fastenings, you know, everything was like, you had to buy it yourself. You had to provide it for that class. And that's just, like, this stuff is expensive. And I once, even later in, when it was closer to the end, I almost tried to switch programs to DMP, but it was just already too late. I couldn't do it. Like, mom and stepdad was like, you guys gotta move out. You gotta find a place of your own. Granted, you know, we were living off of his we're living on very little financial aid and what little benefits he had gotten through. He's constantly testing with the VA, trying to figure out what he had, which granted, going back to that, it's gotten to where it was just fibromyalgia. He probably has some scoliosis in his neck, arthritis in his lower back. He was diagnosed not last year, but the year prior, after we had already moved out in our own place, that he had Marfan syndrome. But he should have had Marfan syndrome, which is strange because that's a genetic disorder, and no one in his family carries that gene. So we don't know what's going on there, but it does kind of a lot of answers there in a sense as well. Let's see, we lived in Tracy. We lived with this mom from 2012 to mid-2014, and then we moved to Auburn, Washington, a little small apartment by Auburn, Washington in 2014, and was living there until April of last year, 2017. So and the whole time we were in Washington, I've only really had 2 jobs. One was an actual job, and then my internship, which I loved my internship. I loved the ladies I worked with. So if you guys are ever in the Seattle area and you're looking for bridal dresses, check out Cicada Bridal, which I will link down in the description bar. They're amazing handmade gowns. Enough of that now. So yeah, we were in Auburn, kind of while we were in school. Small apartment there. I tried doing videos there, and while we were in that apartment, I know I've had a couple of videos while we were living with his mother. It's like just the Auburn apartment was too small. It was at the bottom level, too dark. So that didn't work mainly because of just lighting and, you know. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be all over the place. I'm trying to remember stuff. Like, it is just like so highly stressful that I'm just, my memories just kind of all over the place. Or fuzzy. Let's see, but yeah, I graduated. My husband and I graduated at the same time, even though we have different degrees. Like, he was a bachelor's and I graduated with an associate's. Let's see, I think that was graduated the summer of 2016. And, well, technically I had graduated earlier in the year, but we had the actual graduation ceremony in the summer. So sometime after, I don't remember how long after I actually technically graduated and where I had no classes, I had found a job at a local mall, a clothing store in a local mall, and worked there for the rest of that year until the company had gone bankrupt. And yeah, that was interesting. Loved the ladies I worked with. And also, I think in that year, towards the end of that year, my husband and I ended up having a falling out with his mother, stepfather, and younger brother and his younger brother's wife. But going on with our part of that whole year, we knew we wanted to move. It was just the Washington climate was really, really hard on my husband. He was bedridden for months and months on end. He was in so much pain. Could barely move around, barely walk. barely function. Just the fluctuating temperatures was really not good on him, and he was just really, he needed somewhere that was warmer and was more consistent in temperature. So we knew we wanted to move somewhere where it's warmer. Like, we considered going, living in the Caribbean, living in another country. But in the end, we decided to go to my home state of Texas, come back. Like, he'd always loved Texas. So, yeah, that whole year, we were in the process of thoughts of moving and looking for houses. Like, we both had been ready for a long time to settle down, put down roots, not be moving all the time, and not unsure. Like, we were just ready to settle down, ready for everything to calm down, because there was always just too much uncertainty, too much uprooting. So, yeah. So we knew back then, but yeah, while I was going through my job, later in the year, like, it wasn't till the last 2 months of the year that we really started noticing something different with my job. Also, that's another thing, speaking of a job, I consider doing videos about talking about my experience, kind of like with my job and my internship, kind of like just my experience, kind of little story times. Because I have some customer stories that are pretty interesting. So if you're interested in that, let me know down below if you're interested in a video like that. Let's see. So yeah, going through the process of looking for places to move, to my job, falling out with his mother. So yeah, that was a pretty eventful end of the year 2016. Finally got a hold of a realtor. We talked to her. I tell her about a few houses that we were interested in, and this whole process we're going through with the VA. That's how to get the houses. That was an interesting process too. So yeah, she pretty much talked to us over the phone, and she said whenever we get down here to Texas, when we meet, she'd have a few houses for us to look at that are VA approved. Let me take it from there. I don't remember when, but we ended up, my parents flying my younger brother up to Washington to help us move. Because, like, even with driving, it was a little difficult with Mike, so we could have my brother there to help with driving and to help with packing, unloading, kind of like physical stuff. Because even I myself had, like, back pain, and I need to get checked out myself, health-wise. So, I mean, I'm better than my husband in terms of physical stuff I can do, but I'm not the best yet. So, brother ended up coming and helping us. I think of April of last year. In pouring rain, we ended up making our way down here to Texas, driving from Washington State. So yeah, it was that. We get there, I think the next day we meet her. She shows us 3 houses that were what we were looking for and what we were approved, or VA approved. And we liked, actually there's 4 houses I think. 3 or 4. And out of all of them, we liked one other, but we ended up choosing this one, which is was ended up the top of our budget. And it sits on 2 acres. So we have 2 acres, and like we're out in the country. Like we really wanted to be out where it was quiet. We were done with the city. Not that there's anything wrong with the city life. It's just for us, we were just ready for quiet and peace. And so yeah, we have 2 acres. We have a house on 2 acres of land. Obviously, we're still on their road, so you could probably hear the cars passing by. It's a weekend that I'm filming this. And so yeah, we have a lot of plans. We definitely want to build on this land. Build different things. Like, there's a lot of options in this house. And we're excited about that. I don't think I'm going to do a house tour just yet. It's been taking us a long time. Okay, to kind of close out, as far as my videos in the future goes, for this channel, I don't want to do anything extreme. I don't want to do anything, I don't want to do clickbait. I can't stand clickbait. I just want to be creative. I'll probably dabble. Probably won't fully go back to beauty, but I may dabble with beauty a little bit, maybe with hauls and such, reviews. Maybe dabble a little bit with fashion. A little bit of K-pop, because that's been a big part of my life. And enjoyment, but I don't want to really fully go crazy with K-pop. Let's see. Yeah, I think I want to do a few topics, just kind of talking about probably hard subjects, just really talking about different subjects. I don't have I can't see. And then with my other channel, I want to keep that with art, books, just actual hands-on creating stuff, like physically creating stuff with that. And then I'm going to try and actually get into a little bit with the cats videos, just kind of their channel. Cow is pretty camera shy, so when I bring out the camera, he avoids it, he stops doing what he was doing. But with the other 2, Wizard and Dust, they're still pretty young, so they are still pretty active, so I might try to get some videos up there. That's not going to have a schedule either, that's just going to depend solely on the cats. So yeah, I will link those 2 channels down in the description box. A couple of my older videos that I talked about in here. But yeah, that's kind of like updating you on what my life has been and why I wasn't, even though I said I was going to come back, I never did. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be able to do that this year. So yeah, feel free to subscribe if you aren't already. No pressure though. Like this video if you liked it, and I didn't bore you, or if you just found it interesting. So yeah, I hope everyone is doing alright. They're having a good day, they're happy, everyone's healthy. They just, yeah. Hoping you're living your life the way you would like to live it. So, until next time, next video, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.